My name is Claudia Abar, and I am a kindergarten teacher in District 4. I'm also your virtual content specialist for kindergarten math. For today's video, I wanted to give you a quick rundown of the Geoboard app. You will be introducing, or at least we hope you will be introducing the Geoboard app during week 33 of the Teach Hub lessons. And the Geoboard app is one of the apps that we are using during the lessons to launch some of the work that we'll be doing. So let me go ahead and give you some quick information on how to use it and some of the benefits of it. So when we created this QR code for you to easily access it. This is a visual, and you can share this slide with your families as well. We'll be attaching that to the lessons. This is the web address to access it. And when you click on the QR code and when you use the web address, it'll bring you here. This is what the app looks like when you first open it. Now you can see it's just a blackboard with a lot of pegs. Now, if you remember anything from the classroom, you remember that in the classroom, we have the blue ones, plastic, very durable. And we also have a lot of rubber bands, and the rubber bands cause a lot of snap fingers and a lot of cries. This is a little bit easier, and thus it's a little bit more enjoyable. So now let's get started. How do you use it? When you first open, you'll have this board. Now, if you have a different set of children and you are not teaching kindergarten, you might want to use a bigger one like this. I know for my kindergarten children, this was extremely overwhelming and they just didn't know how to get started. But you can, maybe as they get better during the app, you can definitely use this. You also have the option of the round one, which is a little bit more limiting, but you can still make the shapes here, or at least you can create ideas of the shapes for the children. So let's go back to this one. Once you have this board, you can do a couple of things. You can add a grid like this. And once you add the grid, you can add numbers. So maybe you want to go ahead and tell your children, start at number 0 or start at number 2, whatever feels comfortable for you. For my children, I like to leave it plain. Now, there's a couple of things that we can do here to make this a little bit more fun, and I'll get into that. The very first thing is that when we first started talking about shapes, we wanted the children to go ahead and create the sides that were missing, and we did a whole Google slide presentation on that. So maybe when you get started with the shapes, what you want to do is you want to show your children how to make the shapes that you want them to make. So let's say for today, I want my children to make a triangle. I will draw the triangle here. And I'm sure you'll do a much better job than I will. And then just tell your children, create it in any color you want. It just has to look exactly like this. This is a really good way to get them started as they are having fun. I think this is right. Does it look right? So what can you do? Let's say your children made it in red and you want them to make it in yellow. Go ahead and highlight the red rubber band, and just click on the yellow, and there you have it. Easy peasy. Now, once your children are creating these shapes, and all of these tools are easily accessible for you, because we believe that the more access the children have to these tools, the more engaged they will be in the lesson. Once you want your children, and once your children have a little bit more practice creating them, you want to go ahead and ask them to identify the shapes. Maybe you want them to tell you how many sides, how many corners. Maybe you want them to point. And for this, you can also go ahead and use the pencil feature. Go ahead and circle the corners, and your children will do this. And these are things that you can do either whole class, or you can send it on as an assignment for the work that the children will be doing and then sharing it with you. My students love when I send them little assignments. They consider them little quizzes, and they love to be the first one to get it correct. And then usually once they do, depending on what time they submit, I have them write their name on it just so I can keep track of it. And they send their code as a comment in Google Classroom. So it's really helpful. Once you have this, you can do a couple of things. You can go ahead and shade it in so that they can see and identify exactly what the shape looks like. It can be a little bit drab with the black one. You can go ahead and get rid of it. Maybe you want to add a different shape. Just go ahead and add a blue triangle somewhere around here. Have it connect. And now you can go ahead and color both shapes so that they can see how many sides in the blue triangle, how many sides in the square. Go ahead and highlight the square. And one of the assignments that you'll be creating with your children is that you would ask them, what are some of the things that you notice about these shapes? This will be the way that you introduce it. I believe it's on day 3. What are some of the things that you notice? You can do this for your children very easily. If we decide not to shade, This is one way to do it. You can go ahead and create your triangles in any way. And then something that you probably just noticed is that whenever I move the shapes, if I want to move this triangle, this corner over, right now it's in red. That means that it doesn't have a peg to attach to. It doesn't really know what to do, so it's going to go back to the starting point. Now, if you stretch it, once it gets on the green, then you are free to release. And you can do that. Ask them to make that triangle into a square. What would you need to do? We need one more peg. Ask them to tell you that the pegs are where the corners are. That's a really good way, but also make sure that they know that not always is it like that. Oh, sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied. Some of the features that we have in the Math Learning Center don't necessarily work very well with this app. Like for example, the shading option. I mean, yes, you can hide this, but why? I couldn't really understand how you would use it here. I like the ink blot. I like filling in the shapes. My children particularly like that one. And also know that if you decide to change the color, let's say we want to make this one a gray one, it will go ahead and change the color for that one too. So it won't go back to blue. Now, this was just a quick introduction video. We wanted to show you some of the features and kind of get your feet wet. This is a fun app and we love using it, and our children love it even more, especially because it saves their little fingers. Thank you for watching, colleagues. I hope that you found this useful. We'll see you soon.